Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If Ms. Charlotte wouldn't mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt today's agenda?
So moved.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we will have our trustee Bardon up for a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Since we last met, we became aware of the passing of our former first career chief, Ron Evans. Ron served a full career with IFD, finished out as an assistant chief with IFD, and then in the winter of '99, leading into 2000, he came here as the first career chief for Wayne Township Fire Department. He served here over 7 years with distinction. His passing was in January, but we just became aware of it. Just like to extend to the family our condolences and our appreciation for his service, not only to IFD, but also to Wayne Township. And I'd ask for a moment of silence.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been busy, and I'm not just talking about in terms of the fire merger, but the township has been busy. In large part, we've been continuing with our activities in the community. Just today, we met with Shalom Health Center. They are going to become an active part of our process here for assistance. This week, I was with the Hallville Strong Neighborhood Association, where we greeted the new police chief. We've had meetings with other neighborhood groups. We attended with Doris. I attended a tenants' rights rally at the State House. With my wife, I attended a public school rally at the State House. Met with Representative Renee Pack while I was there to discuss issues related to the township and several other legislators. On a fun note, we've reported over 300 potholes through Request Indy. Dennis Poteet is one of our employees here who works on home inspections. He spent some time over the last 3 weeks turning in potholes throughout the township. And I can tell you that that process works because those potholes are being filled. And I really want to encourage everybody who's listening to go to Request Indy. You can download the app, or you can go email them or call the city and turn in those potholes. We also can tell you that Health and Hospital Corporation, the board met last week, and they have approved the merger that you all voted on last month. So that process is moving forward. The date has been set, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. on March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. We will, and it's also Doris's birthday, we will have a transition from Wayne Township EMS to Marion County IEMS. We've had 2 staff changes, and I need to report. The first is Ron Crow. Ron has been a caseworker for us for, I think, over 10 years, actually 13 years. And Ron has retired. Ron is on his way to Tennessee to ride his motorcycle in the mountains and be closer to his daughter. Kay Ross, our VSO, has accepted a position with the VA. and she submitted her resignation about 2 weeks ago. We have posted that job, and we're asking for your assistance in looking for applicants. It's a good job. It's an important job. We'd like to have somebody who lives in Wayne Township to fill that job. But you can go online through Indeed, I believe is the portal we're using.
That is a Veterans Affairs.
Veteran Service Officer. We're going to bring that more in-house. By that I mean we also want them to be a caseworker for our assistance department. We think that goes together. We have some work in store for us with Mount Jackson Cemetery this spring. We're working with Cummins Engines. We're hoping to have a cleanup date in March with them as an employee involvement event. I had submitted a KIV grant request for trees for the perimeter of Mount Jackson last fall, and we believe we're going to get those trees donated, so we're going to have trees to plant this spring. And then we are participating with Love Where You Are, which is a Wayne Township-wide effort to do cleanups. Last year there were about 500 people who volunteered. That's in April. I believe it's the 26th and 27th. We'll get more details to you. But anyway, we're organizing with them right now, planning involvement from the entire township. You can't miss the Speedway Lions Club breakfast this Saturday. And if you would, when you come for that, please bring your canned goods for Sparky's Food Pantry at the high school.
Where's the breakfast located, Jeff? Is that their facility?
It is, I believe it's at the high school, yeah.
At the high school?
Yeah, as is Sparky's Food Pantry, so you just bring canned goods and then get some pancakes. This Monday, we're joining for a very important IMPD Coffee with a Cop, Monday morning. And I say it's important because it's at McDonald's on Holt Road at I-70. And our very own Commander Terry, who is no longer going to be our Commander Terry, is receiving an award from McDonald's. She's actually a former McDonald's employee, and they're going to celebrate her graduation to downtown.
That's Southwest District?
That's Southwest District, yes.
Jim?
Yes.
You said the Speedway Lions Club's at the high school?
At the high school, yep.
Saturday.
That's okay. And then Thursday afternoon, we also have IMPD Task Force in the afternoon. Tuesday. It is Tuesday at 2 p.m. Thank you. That is also at Southwest District headquarters on West Michigan Street. And finally, we'd like to celebrate Harbor Lights, Salvation Army Harbor Lights 75th anniversary, which is they're just kicking off now. That's sort of my trustee report for now, and I think we'll come back later and have a lot more things to talk
Okay,
about.
when you say celebrate Harbor Lights, are there activities that's going to be involved with this?
I believe so. Jeff and I just got notice from them that this is their 75th, so I think they're going to have some activities. You've toured with us that facility. It's under renovation. I think they're hoping to have that completed and then probably do some kind of a ribbon cutting event there. That's I'm trying to think of what the facility is on Tibbs. So between about 21st Street. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Next, we have approval of minutes. If the board had a chance to review minutes for January 2nd, January 11th, and January 25th, I would like to take a motion to approve those.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize to you, Sally, but I did submit some changes, so we got that taken care of. Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
aye. All opposed? Thank you. For new business, we will have financials for November and December.
Okay. so you've got the summer report. In November and December, it's the whole year together. So basically for the general fund, so obviously it's 100%. We are at 70%, 76% of our budget. The small claims court was at 72%.
Excuse me, where are you reading from in the follow?
It's the manila colored file. It says financials November, December. That's the first page.
So I'm going through the percentages. So back to the general fund, after all of the expenses, we're at 76%. And then all of the expenses for the small claims were at 72%. And then welfare administration was 60%. And then the direct assistance, we were at 67%. And then on the fire fund, we were at 75%. And at the CUME fund, we're at 41%. So overall, we were basically, for our whole entire budget, was about 74% of what we had budgeted, which obviously you keep in mind that, you know, the budget we always put higher than what normally expenses are. Does anyone have any particular questions on that?
So the one prior, that was through September, right? The one that we had before was
I think we did through October.
because balance then on the cumulative fund was like 28, whereas this came out now on this one was like 11. So we used a lot of money there.
Well, in October, we did have 400, or about 400,000.
Any other questions from the board? If not, then I'd like to accept a motion to accept financials for November and December.
I second.
Been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we'll have encumbered purchase orders.
Okay, so that's all part of the AFR, the annual financial report. So within the annual financial report, the total encumbrances for the year that we're encumbering for 2023 that we'll be spending in 2024 is $1,662,378.69, which is this form here that you have. And that's incorporated in the annual financial report. So you honestly can vote with it at the same time you're doing the annual financial report, or you can do it separate, whichever you prefer.
You can do it separate. Do I have a motion to accept encumbered purchase orders?
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We'll hear that.
That's fine.
as well.
That's great. Okay, so now on the annual financial report, which obviously we have to do every year, which is basically,
That is fine. What are you reading from? Someone?
okay, this is the one that says Gateway on it.
Okay.
It's 77 pages. I promise I won't read it all.
Okay.
I'm just going to go over highlights of it. So basically, this is a summary of all the expenses and revenues that came in for last year. So when you start on page 2, that is the fund report, which basically lists every fund that we have. It shows the beginning balances, then all of the receipts, the disbursements, and then our ending balances. So our total cash from all funds is $17,020,770. And then basically the pages after that are a little more detailed. So pages 3 through 6 is all of the revenues in more detail by the fund. So it's broken down by your property tax, your lit dollars, and all the different areas that you receive your income. And then pages 7 through 11 are your disbursements, which are broken down in the categories of personal services, just like in your budget, personal services, supplies, your services and charges like your professional fees, and then your capital outlays. And then that all ties back. But then pages 12 through 67 are every single person that was paid in those individual groups, so that you can see the totals of what was paid in every single person that we had. It totals them up, but they're in every category and every budget line. And then when you go to page 68, That is just a listing of the funds again. And then you have the deficit report, which is on page 69. You don't have any. So basically, if you ever have a deficit, you shouldn't have a deficit balance. But if you have a grant that's reimbursable and you've expended expenses and you've asked for reimbursement and it crosses between the years, that's a time you would have a negative balance, and that's acceptable. You don't have that, but that's an explanation of why you would have one. And then on page 70 is your list of transfers, which is the transfers between funds. So like when we transfer monies into the health funds, and then payroll expenses or transfer where money goes in and out of payroll expenses, those are your transfers. Then on page 71 is your grants. You had a SAFER grant, which you had, and the reason we had to list it this year, because this was an example where last year you had expended the money, and we received the funds in this year, which we'd received $554,591. And then on pages 72, that's your capital assets, which is a listing of all of your capital assets as well as your depreciation on those assets. And then you have page 73, which is your accounts payable and your accounts receivable. So accounts payable is the same thing as an encumbrance, which is the $1 million, the one that you just approved, which is the $1,662,378. And your accounts receivable, this is a new thing that they're requiring. So you have your EMS, you have to put the outstanding receipts that you have on there. And it's high, but the problem is you won't collect all of that, but it's the balance that was as of 12/31, and so we have to put that on there now. And then on page 74 through 76 is your TA7, which is for your assistants, which basically reports and summarizes everything that happened within the assistant's office, who you gave assistance to, how many people you served, and things like that. And then your last page is your pensions, which you participated in per 77. Does anyone have any questions?
I do have one quick
Yeah.
question. When the State Board of Accounts, as soon as they receive it, do they, how long does it take for them to respond, or do they respond immediately? How does?
No, so what it is this, after this is approved tonight, then it's submitted. Jeb will submit it tomorrow. Everything's uploaded. So on Gateway, you have to upload all of your reports like on a monthly basis. And until you get audited, they really honestly don't look at them too much. They can look for audit risk and things like that, and if they see some, they can, but honestly, they normally don't. We just had our audit, and because we have federal funds, you will get audited. We get audited every year, so they probably will not look at that, to be real honest, until next year. But they do look at when it was submitted and make sure it was done timely. So it will be.
Okay.
On page 77,
Uh-huh.
we have a yes or no column. Okay, firefighters' pension fund is no. Police and firefighters' pension fund is yes. And then it says, any pension plans where the employer makes contributions to a plan or fund. No. How come we have two no's there with that one yes?
Well, the perf is the perf, and then you've got per 77. There's two yeses.
The yes is,
Well, the first yes is for public employee retirement.
Yeah.
That's correct.
The rest of it down here is for firefighters.
if you look at it, it says 1977 Police and Firefighters Pension Fund. So all of our firefighters participate in the 1977 post pension fund. We don't have anybody who's been here prior to that 1977 plan. So that's why we participate in that plan, but not the 1937 plan. There probably are still some folks in Indiana who are on the 37 plan, but probably not that many.
That's the year, not a.
That's the year.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. So that's the difference there.
If on page 65, what is the legal shield charges for?
So we have employees who make a deduction from their payroll voluntarily. They have chosen to send whatever it is, $5 per pay, to Legal Shield. We take that money from their paycheck and submit it on behalf of all of the employees who participate in the plan. We also participate in the Emerald Society, so there's a firefighter fund that some of our members put money into, and we then submit that money through their payroll.
And so they have the services of the Legal Shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's voluntary. We withhold the deduction. Be similar to AFLAC or something like that.
Okay, any other questions from the board? If not, then I'll go ahead and accept a motion to approve the audit annual financial report.
I second it.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have disposal of old equipment, resolution 2024-06.
Yes, that's me. Thank you, sir. Good evening, board members. Resolution 2024-06 is an opportunity for the fire department to get rid of some equipment that is either reached end of life or has failed. On the second page of that resolution, you can see what we have asked to dispose of. There are 2 SCBA compressors at 2 of our fire stations. One of them is very old and parts are hard to come by, and it's actually costing us more to operate it than is worth. And the other one has had a catastrophic failure. Can't be repaired, so we'd like to dispose of both of those. In addition, we have 3 of our first family of drones that we've still had in service that have reached the end of their life as well. They also, they're not authorized to fly near the airport, which is unfortunately where most of Wayne Township is. So they're sitting on a shelf right now. So we're going to take the opportunity to see if we can either sell those to another fire department that can still use them or something like that. But they're not doing us any good, and it's just a waste to have them on the shelf.
And will these go up with the auction with the other?
Yeah, they'll go up to the auction. The 2008 SCBA compressor, we're hoping the Decatur Township has asked to be able to use it. They have one similar that parts can work together on, and that'll keep it going for them for a little while longer. The 2015 one the failure is so bad in it there are no parts usable, so it's probably going to be scrapped, to be honest. But the drones we're gonna auction off.
Any other questions?
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for working.
Next, we have resolution 2024-07, the sale of right-of-way on Girls School Road to the Department of Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Resolution 7 is, as the chairman described, a sale of right-of-way. Under Indiana statutes, 2 units of government may transfer equipment or real property among themselves, but their governing bodies have to approve that. DPW has a project that is going to happen on Girls School Road that happens to impact a fire station sitting there. There is ingress and egress on Morris Street as well as Girls School Road for the fire station. DPW is well aware of it being a fire station. They'll make sure that there is no obstruction. But in order for them to do the project, they need a very small strip of land right along the Girls School Road on a permanent right-of-way, and then a small strip of land closer to the corner for a temporary right-of-way just to hold materials while construction's going on. So in order for this to happen, then the township trustee can sign over the right-of-way to DPW, but it has to be approved by you, and then DPW will have to have the same thing approved by the City County Council in order to make it happen I don't have a time frame for when the project will actually happen. Right now, they're just doing right-of-way, which is way in advance of when anything goes on. So we need to get your approval for the transfer of right-of-way.
Temporary
It's a small
right.
strip. Will that go all the way to the fence?
No, it's the, I can't picture where the fence is, but there's a, just a strip, it's basically right where the driveway is where the small strip of right-of-way is. It's
Will
a,
they pay us for that?
yes, they have a negotiated amount that they pay, and they will pay for both the permanent right-of-way and for the use of temporary right-of-way.
So since that's to do with the Firehouse 83, will that money go into the fire fund, the IFD, or will that come back to the township?
No, the property belongs to the township, so it could be put in the fire fund, but typically it would just go to the township fund. It's certainly up to, if the board would want to make sure that goes to the fire fund, you can certainly do that.
Any
Do we
other?
have to take a vote on that prior to taking a vote on this?
No, that could be, you would authorize a transfer once the right-of-way is paid. You could transfer the funds over to the fire fund if you choose to do so.
Any other questions? If not, I accept the motion to approve resolution 2024-07.
2447.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I have just another matter. This is just kind of a heads up. If you remember at the last meeting, you approved a resolution that authorized the signature of the annual fire contract with the town of Claremont. There was a small correction that had to be made to that contract. Therefore, it will need to be re-signed. So we have copies of those for you to sign this evening. You don't have to take action on the resolution because you already authorized the signature of the contract. So it'd just be a matter when you're doing your signatures at the end of the meeting, we need to get you to re-sign the corrected Claremont Fire contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we will, yeah. So now we will enter the public hearing period of our meeting. However, before we do that, I want to invite former mayor of Beach Grove, Dennis Buckley, to the microphone. Yeah, as some of you will recall, members of this board requested his input as he was a mayor when the city of Beach Grove merged with IFD, the most recent unit of government to do so.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. Hi, Miss Ward. How are you?
I am fine, Mayor. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. I wanted to come back and talk to you a little bit about the merger that we took place with the City of Indianapolis on Christmas Day of 2021. We were the first excluded city in Marion County to merge our service with IFD. About a year before that, some of our council people reached out to me inquiring about potentially merging our service. I was a firefighter in Beach Grove for 30 years. The last 12 years that I served, I was the chief. So I was pretty well versed about the operation of the Indianapolis Fire Department. And I've always had a great deal of respect for them. So the more I talked with some of the council members, I was convinced that this was the right thing to do for the city of Beech Grove. So we began to meet with Chief Malone and Chief White and leadership from the 416, along with our fire chief, and started talking about what a merger would look like. So we had several public hearings, at least 3, to where the public could come in and talk about whether they approved of this or they didn't like it. And we had comments on both sides of the aisle, which was really healthy, actually. So it came time for a vote, and we have 7 members on our council. The vote was 5-2 to merge the fire department. So I want you to know that once our council and once you folks vote, and if you decide to go in that direction, it's not going to happen tomorrow. This takes a long time to plan. There's a lot of logistics involved in transferring service from one entity to another. And I want to take you through a couple things to ease your mind about this if you have concerns. In 2010, our city, the city of Beech Grove, merged with the Metropolitan Emergency Communications Agency, MECA. And people said that's the end of Beech Grove. Well, it wasn't at the end of Beech Grove. Beech Grove continued. In 2013, our library board decided to merge their services with the Marion County Public Library. Once again, people thought that would be the end of Beech Grove. And it wasn't. It made the service better. The employees are still employed there. And people can access the library and have a lot more information and access to materials than they ever could have when it was the Beech Grove Library. And in 2021, on Christmas Day, we merged with the City of Indianapolis. Some folks said we're losing our identity as a city because we're giving our service away. And Ms. Ward, you and I talked about it at the last meeting. But I want you to know that the city of Beech Grove is doing very well right now. The merger has actually made us better as a city. And we're 2 years out, and I would suggest to you, if you decide to do this, within 2 to 5 years from now, you are going to be busier as a township than you are right now. So I wanted to come to you tonight and tell you about that. And I wanted to tell you also what I liked about the merger and what I don't like about the merger. So you can make an informed decision. I really like the leadership of the Indianapolis Fire Department. I realize nothing lasts forever, but for a long time, and right now, Chief Malone is sitting behind me. Chief Malone is about as good as you can get. He is an exceptional leader. Assistant Chief White is sitting right behind him. They run an excellent fire department. And I was very well satisfied before the merger, and I'm very satisfied after the merger. They are professional, they're prompt, they stand their ground, and they don't lead you on. They will tell you how they feel and what they think is in the best interest of this service. I like the idea that there's always 4 firefighters on an engine. We didn't have that, but we do. We have that now. So I'm very pleased about that. The transition that we made from the Beech Grove Fire Department to the Indianapolis Fire Department on Christmas Day was absolutely seamless. They just flipped a switch. It was in place. We won't know. We're 2 years out, and we're still trying to figure out the benefit financially that we achieved by doing this. But I can tell you it had a profound effect on our debt, our liability insurance, our marine insurance policies, workman's comp, health, dental, vision, and life insurance for the firefighters. We transferred 35 firemen to the City of Indianapolis. Nobody lost their job. So I was very happy about that as well. I'm very happy with what is offered by the City of Indianapolis for firefighters, for all firefighters, and especially with peer support, screening for cancer. Most of the men and women that I work with on the fire department suffer from either heart disease or cancer. I'm one who suffers from heart disease, and I truly believe that is from what I did for a living. So I'm so happy about what those folks provide to the firefighters. And I want you to know from experience that the firemen here in Wayne Township, if you decide to move over to Indianapolis, nobody will lose their job. They will absorb them into their system. They will be eligible for immediate benefits that are much greater than what the City of Beech Grove could offer. So we're very happy about that, and I'm very happy about that. I'm no longer the mayor, I'm retired. So, but I depend on these men and women to come to my aid if I need it. So, a couple other things that I'm very pleased about. I'm not surprised with the service. The service has been top-notch since the day we merged. Nothing has changed. There's no delay in getting the right equipment to the scene of a fire or emergency. We used to have to wait 5 to 10 minutes. Not anymore. They're right there. One thing that I'm very pleased about, and this was a surprise to me, is how well organized the pension office is at the Indianapolis Fire Department. Actually, I was stunned. They are professional, proficient. They answer their phone. They answer questions immediately. They are on top of it, especially for retired firefighters such as myself. So that was an added bonus that I never thought about. All of our retirees also went over to the Indianapolis Fire Department as well. If you choose to merge, all of your retired firefighters from Wayne Township Fire Department will become retirees of the Indianapolis Fire Department and will enjoy the benefits of being a retired member of IFD. When I retired from the Beech Grove Fire Department, I did not have dental insurance or vision. I do now. Very important. And I ask you to please, if you decide to move forward on this merger which I recommend that you do, to please reach out to the retired members of the Wayne Township Fire Department so they can be included in this conversation. You don't have any members of the 37 or the 53 pension, but the City of Beech Grove still has one person in the 37 pension. And the City of Indianapolis has taken great care of that person. So I'm here tonight to answer any question that you may have, any concern that you may have. But I'm here to endorse the trustees' request to merge the service. I think it will do well for the people of Wayne Township.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly, we do appreciate that information. I know that you and I have had some conversations as well. But I'm just curious to know, what about the civilians on the fire side? How did the merger with you affect? Were they affected?
We had
Did we have civilian workers?
We had civilian EMS workers, but we did not have civilian firemen.
No, any mechanics or any?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mayor. So now we will officially pause our meeting and open our public comment period. As we have established in previous meetings where we took public comment, we will hear from each person that emailed or signed before this meeting. Each speaker must be a Wayne Township resident and have provided their name and address prior to speaking. Because this is being broadcast, you do not need to give your address out on the microphone. This comment period is related to Resolution 2403, which deals with the merger of Wayne Township Fire Department with the Indianapolis Fire Department. Please keep your remarks to that topic only. As this is a comment period, we will we will not take questions at this time. You will send questions to the township office. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak, and there will be a timekeeper who will call time. If deemed necessary, the chair in his discretion may allow additional 15 seconds to wrap up. The chair will also allow public comment until we deem necessary. If we have not completed testimony by, I say, 7:30, we will end it at that time. Please keep your comments within the limits of appropriate public discussion. Anyone using abusive language or disparaging others, individuals, will be ruled out of order and will forfeit your remaining time. Also, we ask the audience to remain silent throughout this period out of respect for those speaking and to ensure everyone here and watching online can hear all comments. With that, I will begin to call speakers to the table. First, we have Stephen Whitman.
Do I need to give my name?
Jesse.
Yeah, I'm Steve Whitmer. So I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to approach this, but I only get one shot at it, so I'm just going to go for it. So judging by the updated trustee website about the merger, my gut feeling is that the merger is going to happen, and everyone needs to understand the public testimony required is by law. My personal opinion, this is all for show. When I first moved to Wayne Township in 2019, I didn't know much about it. All I heard was how great the schools were and how much people respected the fire department. To me, that was a little bit unusual. Never heard of the high compliments that were before. But I started coming here to the advisory board about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I thought I understood why. I heard Trustee Bardon give big compliments of the Wayne Township Fire Department, and I think even last year, 5 Wayne Township firefighters were sent to Hawaii, and the news reported that it was the Wayne Township Fire Department, not the Indianapolis Fire Department, and to me, that's important. So the advisory board is going to have to make, in my opinion, probably the most difficult decision they've ever had to make being on this board. Now, some of you will say yes, that part is obvious, but I would challenge you to think about what legacy you're going to look like, what your legacy is going to look like. Who does your loyalty belong to? Because in my opinion, loyalty requires bravery. When people in the future talk about what happened to their local fire department, your names will forever be connected to this. Not just yours, the trustee's office, everyone who works for the office, and every single firefighter that voted yes to abandon the Wayne Township Fire Department so they can be part of the fire department monopoly known as IFD. This is a forever changing moment for the people of Wayne Township, and once this merger happens, there's no going back. You get to decide who's going to be loyal. You get to decide if you want the identity of Wayne Township to be stripped in front of everybody. And the people that voted for you, or the people that voted you in, or the units that are running this merger. Once you say yes, the merger will have you acknowledge that you don't want this fire department to be affiliated with Wayne Township. You will want to be part of the collective. If this merger happens, which I think everybody's not talking about, Wayne Township loses full control. The advisory board is pretty much useless for the fire department. All that control goes through IFD, which means that we lose oversight. And I don't know about you, but I love oversight. And I love oversight around people that live in the community and are part of Wayne Township, which is why we need to talk about the two elephants in the room. Elephant one, the unions are pushing for this. Why? Well, you would have to ask them. My theory, they want absolute control of the fire departments in Indy so they have all the leverage when it comes to contract time. They don't care about the people of Wayne Township. They only care about their pocketbooks. Elephant two, where are the elected officials? Where's Krista Carlino, Kristen Jones, Jared Evans? And by the way, I checked, they don't have a city council meeting tonight. Jessica McCormick, my counselor, by the way, never returns any of my emails, she was here last month in support of the EMS merger. Where is our state rep, Justin Moed? You want to know why I don't think they're speaking? Well, I checked their campaign reports. All of them have been funded by local 416 fire department.
That's 3 minutes.
So that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have Cheryl Lux.
I have mine written down. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Let's try and bring this up. Okay, my name is Cheryl Lux. Can you hear me? Just bringing this close. You can hear me? Okay. I'm a longtime resident of Wayne Township, and as an active member of the Indianapolis community, I am here to voice my support for the merger with IFD. From everything I have seen and read, it just seems to make sense to me. We can't continue to maintain our own fire department without significant cuts in services and firefighter salaries. And I don't know any resident that wants that. I know a lot of people across the city, and I've talked to many of them who live in townships that have already merged, and none of them have noticed a decline in any service or a fear that anyone has about a fire truck won't get to them in time. IFD has continued excellent service in those communities, and I know it will here too. I trust the experts to do their jobs. I trust Trustee Bardon, and I trust our firefighters that this merger is the best decision for our residents, businesses, and communities. I ask the board to please pass this resolution and allow Trustee Bardon to negotiate with the city to secure Wayne Township's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have former board member Doug White.
Hi, how y'all doing? I was elected to this board in 2008. And I want to tell you that we fought for this fire department tooth and nail every year. Every year, our trustee, our fire chief went downtown. Sometimes some of us board members, we fought tooth and nail for this fire department. We also all knew Not really the newer ones, but the older ones also knew that there would be a time. I'm sorry.
Can't hear you back.
This one here?
Yeah. Yes.
We also knew that there'd be a time. We also knew there'd be a time that this would happen. I just want to tell you, thanks for your service. This is one of the toughest decisions you'll ever make. But I stand behind your decision 100%. Like I said, we knew this was going to come. There's going to be a lot of bad comments, but we fought tooth and nail for what we've had for 24 years. It was a good ride. All right. Thanks. That's all I got.
Thank you. Next, we have Ted Moore.
Good evening. My name is Edward Moore. I'm a lifelong resident of Wayne Township. I'm here to ask you to approve the resolution. My decision is based on what I believe to be best for the township as a community and the firefighters and civilian employees of the fire department. Not only am I a resident, but I'm a captain with the fire department. And I've served the citizens of Wayne Township for nearly 40 years. It's not about wanting to be an IFD fireman. In 54 weeks, I retire, no matter what t-shirt I have, whether it's Wayne Township or IFD. And that was done before merger talks. This is about what is right to continue to provide the best service possible to the citizens of Wayne Township. It's about the employees. It's about you, whether you're Wayne inside or Wayne outside. What you do tonight will decide what happens next. Will you approve the resolution and increase the morale of the most of the employees? I can't speak for all. Or will you defeat it and continue us on the course of uncertainty we're currently in? In the nearly 40 years of serving the citizens, I've seen a lot of change. I sat in this building, in this room, in 1999 when Trustee Gammon presented to the board to start a career department because the system at the time wasn't working. Tonight I tell you that that system is not and has not been working, and it is again time for us to change. Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. Next, we have Bob Lutz.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, chiefs, Mr. Trustee. I'm here as not necessarily as a Wayne Township resident, although I am, but I'm here on behalf of the town of Claremont. I'm their attorney. We have been obviously concerned about this as we've had partnership with Wayne Township Fire Department for many years, providing our fire protection for both the Wayne part and the Pike part of Wayne Township. Any questions we've had have been directed to your trustee, Jeb. He's been very cooperative with answering questions, trying to work with us to make sure that any merger would not leave the town of Claremont or any of its residents hanging out to dry. And again, he's been very cooperative. I've been in contact with Chief Ballone's office. They're being cooperative. And generally speaking, the town of Claremont, I'm here to tell you and advise that the town council is supportive of this merger. It appears that the only constant is change. And we are at that point. I know it's a cliche, but it's actually very true. A couple of years ago, we looked at our funding for the fire department, and with Wayne, and the costs were getting so high, we really can't afford to keep it up either. And I think this is an economic move that you don't have a choice but to make. So again, the town of Claremont is supportive of the merger and asks you to approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Ms. Hayes, Crispy Hayes.
afternoon, board. How you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
I'm here for a resident of 42 years old of Wayne Township. My brothers served on Wayne Township. I served on Wayne Township Fire Department, and I blew out my knee and I cannot serve anymore. I am disagreeing with this merger for one reason. I live over here, and it takes this many minutes to get here. And if we merge, it's going to take longer to get to my mother, who is very ill, who has 5 things on her brain right now. The doctors told me she only has 3 months to live. 3 months. Now, how many other firefighters are going to get here in time to save my mom? I want this to stay here. I want the merge stopped. I want it to stay here. I don't want to merge. I do not. Plus, where's the money that we're in debt? I asked everybody, where's the money going? Nobody can show me. Until we prove, I want to stay here. I don't want to merge. I agree. I disagree on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Joanne Sabas. Okay. Next we have Lisa Zasby.
My name's Lisa Zabst. I'm the president of Eagledale Neighborhood Association. Jeb Bardon has been a supporter of our neighborhood association for many years, at least since he was our state representative, if not before that. So we know him very well. He's very intelligent, honest, and diligent. And if Jeb says that this merger is the best way forward, then we have no doubt that it is. We trust his judgment and support his plan. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Councilor Kristen Jones. Not sure if she's made it or not. Oh. Okay. Well, that concludes the public hearing portion. Next up, we will have Trustee Bardon to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm joined here by Fire Chief Reed, Wayne Township, Chief Malone from IFD, and Hank Harris, who's the president of Local 416. I'm just going to, because I think we've really heard quite a bit already, I'm going to move through this relatively quickly, but I just wanted to cover that there's a reason that we're all here, and it's unfortunate, but it's reality, and that is that our bottom line, our cash reserves, our piggy bank, has been in decline, and it's not something that just happened. It's a historic change. The only thing you see up there that is a positive increase was in 2021 when we received the SAFER grant that was referred to in the annual fund. That's money from the federal government. And so we're really in a pinch. I mean, you get down to it, our trajectory puts us below zero, and we can't go there. We have to continue to provide safety for our residents. This is the reality. This is 88% of what we spend our budget on, and that is the cost of a firefighter. Our firefighters are well compensated. We provide benefits of almost $75,000 per firefighter, and then we have additional stack pay and longevity pay. We have firefighters who work overtime here and are literally $225,000, $250,000 salaries. Thank goodness they're working overtime because we need them. That's a reality of the cost, though. We have costs that have been put off that we have to address, and they're becoming pressing issues we know that we need to replace 2 fire engines in the near future, and the cost of those has gone up significantly post-COVID. I mean, that's what a ladder truck used to cost, and we're now going to spend that for just 1 fire engine. We also need a ladder truck. I don't know if you've seen the one that has pulled out of Station 82 lately, but it came in service when many of our firefighters came in for their first year here 23 years ago. And finally, there's Station 84, which is our 10th Street location there by Ben Davis. I can't get into the details of how bad it is, but let me just say that building is in bad shape. Needs to be replaced, needs to be a modern building that provides all of the modern safety features that our firefighters deserve. That's a big number. But the other number that really pushed us to this point is our retiree health insurance. And that was referenced by the mayor of Beech Grove, former mayor of Beech Grove. It's a $7 million unfunded problem that we face. That's a staggering number, and it's something that there really isn't a good way to steer ourselves out of that. We also know that this year we did not do pay raises for our firefighters. We froze the contract from 23 to 24. We certainly cannot do that going forward. That was a one-time option, and it was not a happy one. Along with that, we know that our health insurance costs are going to continue to go up. That's a national reality. That's not a Wayne Township issue. That's the whole country's dealing with that. And finally, existing assets need to be maintained. And I never appreciated how expensive a fire hose is until I got the bill for replacing fire hoses. And then I found out that we had generators on our fire stations that hadn't been maintained and hadn't functioned. And we found out that we had HVAC units that weren't functioning. And those types of things that were put off, we have pushed to address, but the costs that are coming down the road related to all of that is really an insurmountable number. That's what's brought us here to Resolution 24-3. I want to make these commitments because I know there are fears out there. I hear those. We've addressed them, and we will continue to address them. For Chrissy, who spoke earlier, we're not leaving. This fire station is not going anywhere. The fire trucks that are here aren't going anywhere until we get a new one that will replace the one that's here. And then you'll have a new fire truck here. The firefighters stay here. If they want to stay in Wayne Township and Wayne Township fire stations, they're going to do that. That's a commitment I make, that I won't make this negotiated deal with the city unless we have those kind of commitments. And we've got those commitments already in place from IEMS. So we know it can happen, and it will happen. Doris, you asked about civilians. I'm going to let the chief of IFD speak to it also. And I can tell you that our commitment is that we're here to take care of those civilians. They have, I think I'm going to steal your quote, but we've been through 5 of these mergers in townships, and people have always found a place. It may not be in the exact same building, but it will be a spot for them within IFD and within the city.
So that would be for maintenance, vehicle, and holding staff?
And administration.
Administration, okay.
Yes.
And thank you for addressing that issue regarding Christie, because I was going to speak on that, because I feel sorry for her, because I don't think she clearly understood.
And we will continue to explain that to folks, because I know there's a fear out there, but the reality is the stations aren't going anywhere, the fire trucks aren't going anywhere, the firefighters are staying here, we will be fully staffed, so nothing's going to change there. This is an important one, because we've grown this in the last year. You all know that we did Community Day in the Sam's Club parking lot, and I had over 1,000 people come through. The commitment is going to be there to continue that effort. And we visit schools. We have a public education component to the fire department. We do trainings. We've been through CPR and AED and Stop the Bleed and Narcan. All of those trainings will continue. That's going to be part of what we're working through with the agreement. And finally, and I'm stealing a comment here, but we've listened to our firefighters, and I don't. That's not something There may be some folks who criticize that, but I think that's one of the most important things we can do. They voted, and they voted first. They voted in December with over 70% of their members voting in favor of this. So it's clear that this is the time, and this is something that we need to do. And it's for the taxpayers too, because the reality is our tax rate for the fire service is the highest in Marion County, and I believe close to the top of the state. And that rate compared to IFD is almost 3 times what the citizens of IFD pay. So you're going to see at least a 60% reduction in the tax rate. Now, some of that money, as alluded to by Mayor Beach Grove, will be shifted within the tax cap structure. The school district is going to benefit. We know that the estimate is $6 to $7 million of annual additional revenue for the school district, which for Wayne Township may mean not having to do a referendum. And that's a significant change. I've mentioned the fire department, but I'll say it again. This is in their best interest. That retiree health insurance component, we've compared what we do here in Wayne Township to what IFD does with RIF. RIF is Retiree Health Insurance Fund. We can't offer what they offer. And by that I mean retirees in IFD can cover their family. They can cover their spouse. They can cover dependents up to age 26. We only offer compensation for the individual cost of the individual firefighter, not including family. That's an amazing difference. So, we talk about what's in the best interest of our personnel. That's a major issue. And it's in the best interest of Wayne Township. I mean, overall, we know that our budget, if we don't make this change, goes into the red, and it affects not only fire service in the long run, but it's going to affect the overall ability of our government to function. And that sucks poor relief in, that brings in court services. We can't go there. So for the sake of our township, this is the right thing to do. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. We are one.
Yes.
Schools has it, we are one. That's our school and our fire department. Our fire department is highly respected. Citizens, they don't care about the taxes as long as they got our fire. Supposedly 70% of the firemen voted for this merger. I trust with their expertise and their ability and their education that they just didn't take a look and look at the cover as presented, but I trust that they went inside that book and done some soul searching on. So for that, they made up their mind. I'll support my fire department. I've always supported my fire department. But the civilians has really got me worried. They didn't get a chance to vote for this. And some of those people have been there for years, a lot longer than some of the new hires that we have in the township. So these people that are civilians, will each and every one of them be able to keep their job if they want at the same pay that they now have? And if not, will their seniority bring them into here to maybe knock some of the new hires down or out? That's what's concerning me now.
Yeah.
Because the firemen made their own choices.
Yeah, that was my question as well.
Right. It's a very complicated question as to how we reallocate those civilian jobs. And I can tell you historically, across the entire county, civilians within the fire department in the merger process have been taken care of.
But
Would you like
it's
to
like
say?
Chief Man can only have so many employees. And if he can't take every one of them, can we utilize them?
For an opportunity to spend a little time with you. The civilian question does have many layers, but I can tell you We did this first merger of this type in January of 2007. So it's been 17 years, and I think we have a very high success rate with our civilian staff. And what will likely happen is we have 12 committees already formed, in case you were to approve this evening, that look at every facet of the township, the city, and both fire departments. And we look for opportunities for the civilian staff in not just the fire department, but in all places. We have done mergers and civilians have come over into the fire department, and I would certainly anticipate, I can't guarantee anything until we get into it, but I would strongly anticipate some of those folks would transition to IFD. We would look for other opportunities throughout the entire city enterprise. So you talked about mechanics. We don't have mechanics at IFD, but we have mechanics with Department of Public Works within the city enterprise. We have HR. We have many different environmental opportunities for civilian employees to find work, and we work with them to try to match their skill set and desire to find employment for them. And I have a high level of confidence that we will. And yes, some will come to the fire department. I don't even know how many civilians we have at this point. Are we talking 5, 10, 20? What I can assure you is there will be a concerted effort to find every civilian who wants a job, a position that matches their skill set. And I think we'll have a high rate of success with that.
And with this mechanic, correct me if I'm mistaken here, but last fall, some of the DPW people used Wayne Township mechanics in the garage because they couldn't keep up. And IFD uses DPW mechanics, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have knowledge of that. I don't speak for DPW. So I don't know if that occurred or not, ma'am, I don't.
Who works on IFD's equipment? Do you have your own
DPW does work on our equipment, but I'm not in their day-to-day staffing or who they partner with to work on a specific piece of equipment. I just don't know that.
Will we maintain this area, IFD, will they maintain the garage and mechanics and utilize them that we currently have?
It's yet to be determined. If you approve this tonight, those 12 committees, there's a logistics group that will look at every station, every apparatus, every piece of equipment, and make a recommendation to an oversight board. All of these committees are made up of fire department, trustee's office, City of Indianapolis. We want all the right people at the table to evaluate the current state of things and make decisions on how we proceed. So certainly we will stay in contact with this board on what we find out if you approve this evening as we walk through that process.
So if you have mechanics with DPW who are currently working on DPW trucks, so our mechanics work on our engines.
Correct.
So now is that a big difference in the type of mechanics that's needed to work on an engine versus a DPW truck?
Yeah, DPW has dedicated mechanics that only work on fire apparatus. So they might have someone work on a snowplow or a dump truck or something else, but we have a dedicated group that is assigned to work on IFD apparatus by DPW. So they would continue to work on fire apparatus, ma'am.
So now I want to go back and visit the civilians. And I think we have 3 types of civilians that work on the fire side. So now have those individuals, I guess Mr. Trustee, maybe a question for you, have those individuals been notified? Do they know anything as far as what their status is going to be or where we are at this point? I know we haven't signed off on this tonight, but have they at least know what the status is at this point?
I can address that. To clarify your point, Ms. Ward, we have not worked on any IFD vehicles. We did not do any of that. So to answer that, yeah, we've had a couple of meetings where we've sat down and talked to people about this process. I've done 4 or 5 of these in a previous life, and I would say I would just reiterate what Chief Malone said, that all of these we have to sit down and kind of walk through it and see
see where people fit. It really is more about skill sets than positions. It's that we want to sit down and make sure that they get the right skill set. And so I would also say that my experience in this is that where you land initially isn't where you end up. And I think that people, it's kind of the attitude you have going into it and moving forward what you want to do. But so everyone has been, but we have spoken to everyone at one point or another and talked to them about what the process looks like and what the expectation, not to have too high of expectations, but to recognize that historically we just had, it's not like somebody's not going to, I would say confidently that we have a pretty good opportunity to find a place for people here, especially the civilians.
No one will lose their job, is that what you're saying?
I feel pretty strong. Chief Malone may not go that way, but I feel pretty strongly that we should have a pretty good opportunity to find a place for people to work.
I have one more question. Our IT person, will we be able to keep him, or will he have to go with fire?
Want me to take that one?
You can take that one.
So, we all know him and we all love him. And quite frankly, I want him to land in the best spot for him. And by that I mean his skill set is extremely valuable. And he needs to go where his family, he needs to go where he can best support his family. I believe he's still underpaid, even though I think we did 2 raises last year for him. I'm not supposed to speak specifically about an individual, but I can tell you that we will do what we can within the township in terms of assistance and the courts in our budget. But I do respect how valuable of an employee he is, and we want to make sure that he's taken care of.
Thank you.
He's a valuable guy. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's been said, but I wanted you to hear it from me. If you approve this action, obviously there's other steps with the City County Council and the Mayor's office, but if at the end of the day this measure is approved, no fire station, there's no plans to close any fire station. There's no plan to move firefighters or engines or ladders or other equipment. So the same equipment that's responding to your loved one while we're sitting here this evening will be responding to your loved one whenever the date of this merger occurs. And I wanted you to hear me say that. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I really believe a person doesn't know what the position is only as good as they are themselves. And Chief Malone has had my greatest respect for several years. So I really believe he will treat our firefighters.
Thank you, ma'am.
With that said, are there any more questions, statements, comments prior to me taking a motion? You're right, that's what I'm asking. Any questions, any more questions from the board or comments before we accept the motion? Okay. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2024-3?
I make the motion we accept Resolution 2024-03.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And just for the record, I hear yays from each board member, starting with Ms. Charlotte.
Aye.
Aye.
As Brian Sheffield, I vote aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Resolution is passed.
Mr. President, I still would like to explain my vote. You know, I know this has been a tough decision for this board, and it has not been an easy decision. We have struggled, and one of the things that I have to say that I appreciate is within our trustee based on all the information we as a board have received from him, he's been very transparent. And like he said, the overall ability to function in the township is the most important thing that we have to look at, and that is what has determined my vote, because it will be a trickle-down effect if we did not do this. And I know that a lot of people are not happy with this vote, but I believe that it's something that we had to do. I trust our trustee, and I believe that they've dotted every I and crossed every T, and so that is why I opted to vote for this right here.
I also want to thank our board, all the citizens that provided public comment, all of leadership with providing us all the needed details and information we needed to make an informed decision. My decision was basically a large part around economics and safety. The economics, I have to do what's right for the taxpayers. The safety, I trusted the leadership of our fire leadership to give me the right information to know that my family will be cared for if something was to happen. Also, safety, in my mind, is something that we haven't talked a lot about, is the citizens who probably couldn't afford to be here, probably don't have the time to be online. But I've worked for many years in Hallville for Holy Family Shelter, and there are a lot of citizens who are housing insecure and living in poverty. And so I want to take this opportunity to shift our focus to those citizens as well who don't always have the voice to speak up for themselves. So I'm proud of this board for making those decisions that's going to impact our citizens the most. Thank you. This meeting, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.